Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chebukati, who is the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission of Kenya, is facing an imminent arrest, and charges are going to be opened against him. The DCI boss has said that there are very minimal investigation remaining just to prove that Mr. Chebukati and Mr. William Ruto were planning to bungle the 9th August presidential elections. This office is supposed to be very independent. No wonder the name is IEBC. The I stands for independent. But it has failed to be independent. And therefore, a conclusion has been made that since they do not want to be independent, then that independence is going to be taken away from them. I am one of those people who refused to buy the notion or the claims that Mr. Chebukati was working together with William Ruto. I actually thought that the deep state is so deep that Mr. Ruto cannot penetrate and defeat them. No wonder Mr. William Ruto had always said that he's not afraid of the deep state. In fact, he said that he defeated them in Kiambaa and all the other by-elections. It is now very clear, ladies and gentlemen, that William Ruto and Mr. Chebukati, together with some IEBC officials and commissioners, wanted to rig elections in favor of William Samoei Ruto. All these efforts have been thwarted by the DCI. And if you had any doubt that William Ruto wanted to bungle the elections, that Mr. Chebukati were in cahoot of the Kenya Kwanza team, then you will listen to William Ruto in a rally in South Rift in Kericho and see how annoyed he was and the kind of verbal attack that he was throwing to Mr. Kinoti. In fact, William was so much annoyed that he even forgot Mr. Kinoti's name. Watch this and you will know that the kind of verbal attack against Mr. Kinoti and the president is as a result of the thwarted efforts to rig elections in his favor.
Tunataka tumuulize rafiki yetu rais wa Kenya. My friend Mr. President, we voted for you. We stood by you when you wanted men and women to stand by you. You have 2 weeks as President of Kenya. You have a duty, a constitutional duty, to make sure that we have free, fair, democratic elections. Please, we want to ask you not to allow the security agencies, people who have sinister motives, to intimidate or blackmail the IEBC or to undermine the elections of 9th of August. You have a duty. We know you are also the chairman of Azimio. Please don't confuse your duties as the chairman of Azimio and your duties as the President of Kenya. As the President of Kenya, you must serve all Kenyans equally. You can support your project as the chairman of Azimio, but you must always remember that you have a duty to the people of Kenya, the 50 million people of Kenya, to guarantee their security and the security of the election so that Kenyans can make their choices in a free, fair and democratic manner. We are not asking for any favor from you. We just want you around the election. Tunataka tumwambie ule mtu wa sinema mingi anaitwa nani ule mtu? Ule sijui anaitwa DCI, ule anaitwa nini? Ule mtu anaitwa Kinoti. Awache ujinga. Huyo bwana Kiboti awache ujinga. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Huyo Kinoti hakuna kitu amefanya kwa hii Kenya ya kisiasa. Yeye ni mtu ya sinema. Anaendesha makesi kwa magazeti. Anatuandikia barua, sijui barua ya kilomita ngapi. Mr. Kinoti, please save your time. Stop writing to us long letters. Leave matters of elections to IEBC. You have no business in IEBC. You have failed as DCI. We don't want you to fail our elections. Tunaelewana? Huyo bwana Kinoti awache hiyo ujinga yake anaendesha pale.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to those statements, it will tell you that they are very emotional. Those are sentiments of a man who has been cornered, a man who has nowhere to run. You see, the 3 Venezuelans who were arrested were helping with the investigations. And it seems that yesterday they led the DCI secretly into one of the offices where they were supposed to start their dirty works in the transnational house. And Mr. Kinoti raided that house. He's not leaving anything to chance. No wonder William Ruto is very much annoyed with him, because yesterday they moved very quickly. They are claiming that it was as a result of a public tip-off, but I believe these Venezuelan gentlemen led them secretly to this house, because it was said that some people were rushing to transfer some servers from that office to Westlands, and this office has been connected by Mr. William Ruto.
We at this building, following up some information we received during the day, that there were some servers which were being moved from 7th floor of this transnational building to some unknown location.
It is said that he used this office when he was a Minister of Agriculture back in the coalition government. It is also being mentioned that it has, when the URP, when they still had the URP party, before they joined together and formed the Jubilee, that William Ruto was using this office. Those facts or allegations are still being investigated, and Mr. Kinoti has vowed to get to the rock bottom of this matter. From where you sit, do you think William Ruto is a clean man? Do you think he has clean hands? Do you think he's being accused falsely? And IEBC as currently constituted, ladies and gentlemen, do you think it can give us a free, fair and credible elections? I have always defended IEBC, but I've now been baptized otherwise. I now hold the opinion that IEBC cannot give us a free, fair and verifiable elections. Ask yourself, what would have happened if these 3 gentlemen were not intercepted at the JKIA? They would have gone direct to this office and they would have started their dirty works, because according to the invitation letter, these people were not even invited by the IEBC. Mr. Abdul, who is not even working for the IEBC, is the one who invited them. And according to the invitation letter, they were supposed to come in from the day on Thursday when they were arrested to 8th of August. And remember, our elections are beginning on 9th. So they were supposed to invade the server, insert whatever they wanted to insert there, and then move out at night. Then create an election gap between Raila Amolo Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. If you look at the confidence that William Ruto had, you may wonder where he got this confidence. He knew very well that they have connived together with Mr. Chebukati. The other day when Mr. Chebukati and Mr. Marjan were being asked questions by the media, they were wishy-wishy. They were not very confident in what they were saying. In fact, at some points, they were answering differently. It seemed that they do not even read from the same page. After those verbal attacks, after the Venezuelan arrest, and after the revelations by the DCI and raiding their offices, it is now crystal clear that the IEBC is rotten to the core. And Mr. George Kinoti has said that he's going to open a criminal file against Mr. Chebukati because he has failed to act independently. He has failed to uphold the ethics and morals that is required of him in that very sacred office. If you remember, ladies and gentlemen, in 2007, Mr. Kivuitu, the then body was called ECK, Electoral Commission of Kenya. Mr. Kivitu was heading that panel, messed up this country, and people died. Others were butchered. Others became IDPs in their own countries. And when he was asked later, Mr. Kivitu said, because I remember he was asked, do you think Kibaki won fairly? He said, I don't know who won. You see, these are statements that cannot be accepted, because when you say you don't know and people have died, some have been chased from their land, it doesn't help at all. And Mr. Chebukati must now be in the radar of the police, because we do not know what transpired earlier. We do not know what he's doing now. In fact, what is even more startling is that since Mr. Kinoti revealed the true identities and the intention of the three Venezuelans, Mr. Chebukati has not tweeted anything. They have not responded. They have been cornered. They have been caught. They have left this war and the battle to the Kenya Kwanza team now to throw insults and accuse the DCI's office. As a Kenyan, whether you're supporting Kenya Kwanza, supporting Mr. Wajakoya, or supporting Raila Odinga, you should condemn these purported acts with contempt. Because if we are not careful, we can go back to the 2007. We can witness a post-election violence. Innocent blood can be shed as a result of this, myopic behavior from William Ruto and Mr. Chebukati. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you, Mr. Kinoti says that he's going to open charges against Mr. Kinoti says he's going to open charges against Mr. Chebukati. Are you going to start accusing Mr. Kinoti of playing politics with his office? Do you support? Are you against Mr. Chebukati being arrested? And of course, Mr. Kinoti says that this is only going to happen once they complete their investigations. We are facing a crisis as a result of some stupid behavior from the IEBC Commission. Mr. Chebukati is being called upon to live up to the ethics that is required. And Mr. Kinoti is being advised that you have the full support of Kenyans. If you need to arrest Mr. Chebukati, if he needs to be arraigned in a court of justice, so be it. Because as a Kenyan, you want your vote to count. Even if it is Mr. Wajakoya who is going to win, let it be a free and fair election. We do not want to live in a country where you wake up very early in the morning to vote, but your vote doesn't count. In 2007 it happened, 2013 and 2017 it happened. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a bit worried, but thanks to Mr. Kinoti and his team, all the dubious plans have been exposed, and Kenyans now know who Chebukati and Mr. William Ruto is. I don't know what you think. From where I sit, I support. If Mr. Chebukati needs to be arrested, let it be. Even if it means that Mr. Ruto is being disqualified, let it be, because we cannot accept any other misbehavior that can plunge this nation into chaos again. Unajua Mr. William Ruto ni kama ule fisi ambaye amelamba damu. He will want more and more. Fisi akilamba damu hataki kuachilia. And this might be the reason why William Ruto does not want to let go. He knew very well that he had his plans. That's why he was saying he's not afraid of the deep state. But now, what next for Mr. William Ruto now that they have been exposed badly? Ladies and gentlemen, your guess is as good as mine.